What's up, everyone? Today we're going out on a gravel exploration ride. Right now I'm in the town of Twin Bridges, Montana. We're gonna head out this way out of town. This is on the way to Dillon. And cut over right here, there's a dirt road called Melrose Road. Melrose is a small town. It's probably 15 or so miles over the mountains right there, but there's this dirt road that goes that way. I'm gonna go explore it a little bit. Definitely won't make it all the way to Melrose. Might make it to this small area or town called Rochester. There's not really a town out there from what I've seen. I think it's kind of just a mining area. The Karate Monkey got a suspension fork on it right now. Thought it'd be a fun little change of pace instead of the rigid fork. It's locked out right now though. Probably be that way most of the time. Might switch it over to the trail mode. Pretty soon here it should switch over to dirt. You know, this is one reason I like going for bike rides or gravel rides. You know, there's things like this that there's not really a sign. There's this rotary sign right there, but you don't see them when you're in a car. So kind of cool. It's a Shoshone burial site. A little piece of history that you wouldn't see if you were just driving by. All right, gonna cross over the river and then we're into dirt territory. I'm guessing it's gonna be really well maintained for a while because of all the houses out here. One thing I hadn't thought of, but that I'm noticing right now with the suspension fork on, is that it's a lot beefier, a lot more solid. It's got a through axle, and you know, big 32 millimeter stanchions, big in comparison to a rigid fork, I mean. And with it locked out, it's actually a rougher ride than with the rigid steel fork. Maybe I'll switch it over to trail, see how that feels. The trail mode, basically, if you get a big enough hit or enough pressure, you know, it'll open up a little and act more like a suspension fork. But other than that, it's kind of locked out. It's a little noticeable already, actually, even as the road has gotten rougher. See how it feels when I stand up and put some power down. Yeah, I mean, it's moving. Don't like that. Locked out. Yeah, a lot better. Still a little bit of movement, so feels a little like you're losing some power, but not too bad. I think we're kind of past the housing area. The road's getting a little rougher. Not bad though. A little washboardy, but really great ride so far. Whew. Looks like we got a bit of a hill. The wind's actually picking up, which is kind of weird. I wasn't expecting that. It is supposed to rain later, hopefully later rather than sooner. That might make this a little bit of an interesting ride. Probably have to turn around. I didn't bring my rain jacket. I looked at it and I thought I'd be good, but those clouds are saying differently. That was a lot more of a climb than I was expecting. This is where I'm gonna put it in trail. It's a little rolly with some rough sections. The trail mode should just help when I run into those surprise rough sections. Looks like there's a fire out, like right there. I think those are prescribed burns. It's pretty early in the year, so it's probably them burning more for management so they don't have bigger fires later. That's down there, that's all Twin Bridges. Farther out that way is Sheridan. Those are the rubies. And behind that are the tobacco roots. This road is in such good shape. It's amazing. This is really like prime gravel riding. It's remote, not really seeing any cars, well maintained, decently well maintained. There are spots. This part looks fun. Downhills are always fun. Doesn't matter if you're on the road or gravel or mountain biking. Ooh, a little whoop-de-whoop. Yeah, the fork's actually helping out a lot on those. You probably can't even tell, but it just smooths it out where it is a little bit more rough, especially at these speeds. The steel fork is great, does totally fine, but this adds a little bit of comfort. Does add some weight though, so that's a drawback. Weather is looking quite ominous. There's supposed to be a cutoff up here somewhere. I mean, gonna have to climb up this ridge, I think, but it'll be better than just turning around though. It'll make it a little bit of a loop. It's been like, it was like 80 yesterday. It's been warm, fairly warm for a few weeks now. Been in the 40s, 50s, all the way up to 80, or today like 65, and there's still snow. It's just hidden enough in the shade that hasn't melted yet. It's crazy. Whew. This is one of those false flat areas. You think you're on something flat, but it's just slowly climbing. It's also gotten really loose for some reason. Some deep, sandy dirt. Trying to find the hard pack part. Definitely could have done this ride with the 40mm Maxxis Ramblers on instead of the 50s. It would have been great, a lot faster, and there's nothing that really calls for this big of a tire, except for, you know, the comfort factor. This is the cutoff. I think this is a little, I think it officially meets over here, but looks like this is pretty well established. I'm gonna go make this a loop instead of heading out to Rochester, because it's raining over there. I don't want to get caught in the rain. It will make things a lot colder and pretty miserable. So let's see if we can make this loop happen. Definitely gonna have a climb right here. Gotta lock this out. A lot better. You can feel it zapping your energy as you push down. Fairly steep towards the top, at least a 10% grade. I'd say probably more like 12. I think I get a good long downhill coming up. This part's fast, feels good. Yeah, the rain's coming. I'm glad I came this way. I don't mind riding in the rain, but it's not that fun when it's kind of cold out. I'm gonna go here in case I need to grab the brakes. Got a little junction, don't see any cars coming either way. Always check both directions, kids, before you enter the road. Whoa. Oh yeah. And I'm locked out. That would have been a good test for how the suspension helps. Oh yeah. This makes those climbs worth it. I'm gonna go full open. Maybe that's not a prescribed burn. It's getting pretty big. That surprised me though. Maybe it's one that got out of control, or someone was just doing an ag burn and lost it. That looks quite large. Woo! Wow, that's bumpy. Smoother over here? Yeah. Oh, it was. Now it's not. at it! Got into the mid-30s. That was pretty fast. Whew. Okay, I think I got a straightaway now, right down to where the road forked and I went to the right. This is where the road that went to the left. All right, here we go. Joining back up with the Rochester Road. I guess I called it Melrose Road. I think it's technically both. I think eventually it turns into Melrose Road. Let's just stop for a second to appreciate this view with the river. I'm actually surprised. It's way deeper right here than I thought. The river's really high right now. It's the spring runoff is starting, and so, you know, normally that would be more of this little island right here. Well, that was a really fun ride. Again, didn't go as far as I was thinking I would, but that rain's coming in fast. Also kind of fun to see what it's like to ride with the suspension on. You know, on this kind of a ride, it's kind of not really necessary at all. Would have been nice to have the bike a little lighter instead. It would have its purposes if you're really going out for some adventures. I think it'd be fun to try out a purpose-built gravel bike that has suspension like the Niner MCR. You know, that's a full suspension gravel bike. I can definitely see where it would be really nice and potentially a little faster as long as that suspension's tuned right. I think it has like 40 millimeters of travel in the front and 30 in the back or something like that. So you're not talking a whole lot, but it's definitely tuned differently because you're not having such big hits. It's more geared towards responding to all the small bumps, the washboards, the rough gravel. So it would really smooth out the ride and probably give you the same advantage that you get with suspension mountain biking, especially like with climbing. You maintain your traction a little better when it gets rough on a steep climb. Well, I'm just about back into town, so if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe if you did. Share this with your friends if they're into gravel riding, plus bikes, fat bikes, and just kind of adventuring. See you next time.